Hello there, friends and RC family. My name is Alec from High Noon Hobbies, and if you're new to this channel, I very much appreciate you checking it out. I don't know how you got here. Well, I probably would if I looked at my analytics, but I don't care to do that. So, anyways, I hope that either way, you'll stick around, watch at least this video, see if this content seems worth your while, and consider subscribing so that then I can say to you, if you aren't new here, welcome back to yet another Friday upload here on the High Noon YouTube channel. This time we are out in the Uintas. If you're unfamiliar, in the northern Utah area, this is the Mirror Lake Scenic Byway. You can see it behind us here. And we decided to have a little cash comp up here. Luke decided to host. Thank you very much, ScumbagRC, for hosting this event. And we can see that we are up at about 10,600 feet of elevation. So it's a little hard to breathe up here. D's company getting a little bit winded on the way up from the parking lot area, and I don't blame him. I made that trip about 30 or so times on this day, and I was pretty beat. But we are going to be taking a look here at the Course 2 run, or Course 1, I guess. Doesn't really matter how we put it now. Run from Sons of Crawl. So here's Mike from Sons of Crawl laying down some lines on this Class 2 course up here in the Uintas. Something interesting about this particular course, as opposed to courses previous, usually we will have the event host be the person who deals with setting up the course. And of course that's fun and all, but then it makes it so that that host can't compete, and it also makes for potentially some disagreements between certain lines and how they should be set up, or how they were set up. And so to avoid all of that nonsense, this time we decided that each individual participant in the comp, or at least the first 10 to show up to the comp, would set their own gates, essentially. So we had a different person set each gate on the comp. That way we tried to make it as fair as we possibly could. So this course number 2, or course number 1 as far as we're concerned here, because it's the first time you're seeing this comp on the channel, but this course here was probably the more mild of the two courses. And actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you guys have seen this on the channel before if you've tuned into any of the live streams. We actually watched Logan and Dustin both go through the course number 1, the official course number 1, on this, or of this particular cash comp. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that we watched that. I save all of my live video VODs, so if you're interested in checking that one out, that'll be on the channel. I'll throw a link up to it so that you can view that one. But some great runs by those guys on course number 1, and now we're seeing a pretty great run here from Sons of Crawl. This was quite an impressive run, and really I think what stood out to me about this run was the attention to entry points, right? So this is something that I think Mike has been working on over the past few months, is really trying to pay attention to the way that he enters obstacles to set him up for success. So like we saw there on the reset before this one, where he actually ended up having to take a rollover, that was not a very good approach, and unfortunately I told him to bail out to the driver's side, which I think caused that rollover to happen, so I do apologize there, Mike. But either way, I think you handled that well, and then the reapproach to this line was awesome. And I would say that Mike had some pretty standout approaches to obstacles on this particular course that set his score apart from the competitors. He did quite well here, and it shows that he has been working on his approaches. Like here, for example, he gets hung up, but he had already foreseen this in the approach that he was taking there, and he knew that if he just bumped his way over to get the skid on, or get his skid onto that higher section of rock there, that he would be shifted off to the driver's side, and it worked perfectly for him. But man, the approach and the follow through of that particular gate right there, I believe that was gate number 4, was stellar. He really made that one look pretty painless. Same with this ascent here, although unfortunately when the judge gets a little bit closer to take a look there, we can see that he did bump that, and so we've got to count that gate against him, which is quite unfortunate because that one was a very solid run up that very, very steep face. I was quite impressed with that one. We're going to hit this bonus here. I believe that we've already hit the first bonus, and he cleaned that one. I thought that was also quite a good bonus line. This one here is a bit nastier than the first. As you can see, a gnarly V-notch with just an incredibly difficult breakover angle to deal with, but Mike makes it look like an absolute piece of cake. He avoids the pockets that can suck you in if you go too far to the left and right on that one, and just did a stellar job. Very impressed with that bonus there. Didn't even need a winch. I believe most of the competitors that I watched go up that gate there ended up using a winch to get up it. But here we are, gate number 6, another nasty V-notch with a hefty breakover angle. But again, Mike just making these look easy. His throttle control is awesome, super on point here, really definitely controlling his throttle to give him the bump that he needs to get over these very, very nasty faces, but also keeping the throttle in control enough that he doesn't force himself off to either direction too much. This one here, this is really a test of patience. This gate was a toughie. The two separate ledges were just perfectly spaced, and you really had to get the best hook, the best conceivable hook with that driver's side front tire to force both wheels up and over that second ledge there. Unfortunately, Mike gives it just a little bit too much beans on that one there and ends up sliding off to the passenger side there. An unfortunate turn of events, but he pulls the winch out, and I think that was the right call there, making it through with just a +3. Definitely worth it versus making it through with a gate penalty there. Absolutely the right call in my book. Now we're headed into gate 8 here. This is a nasty looking V-notch, but not a particularly difficult one if you get yourself lined up to it properly. Honestly, the side hill into this V-notch may be more difficult than the actual V-notch itself. But either way, Mike taking the smart approach here. He knows that he is getting a little bit pent up. He needs to take a second, cool off, breathe, get his stretches in, and then he'll start back over here. So I think that this timeout was actually a really, really brilliant idea on Mike's part to keep himself focused and to maintain that energy through to the finish line. You really don't want to start to get all antsy about the finish of the run right there in the last couple of minutes, because that is where it's very possible to make some very nasty, quick mistakes, and you just won't be able to make up for them. When you only have a couple of gates left and you've already used your bonus gates, this is the time to tighten up the run and bring it home clean as you possibly can. So gate 9 here, again, you can just see the kind of running theme here being very, very, very nasty ascents, just essentially sheer faces with disgusting pockets that pull you in on either side. And this one in particular is just a disgusting pocket all the way across. There's really no way to avoid the pocket on this one. So a smart approach there, again, using the winch on Mike's part to get up and over this particular obstacle. Now the last gate in front of us, gate number 10 here. This one tripped up a lot of competitors, but Mike sees the right line and he hits it the first try here. Most competitors were heading over to the left-hand side. Mike decided to take this right-hand approach through the small box canyon off to the side that's pretty hidden as you approach it, and just makes it clean through that gate. An awesome run, ending up with a +8 at a 7:18.25. Obviously the unofficial score and time here for the High Noon channel, as we did not actually judge the run. But that's all I've got for you today on this run. Make sure you check in for the Sunday upload. We're going to have some interesting times with the TRX 6. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.